If you could go back, what would you say to yourself?
Don't smoke as much weed, man. Smoke a little less weed.
Come on, man.
No, I mean,
that,
I don't know if I'd tell myself anything differently. I mean, he got me here. I don't know. We didn't mess up too bad.
We never had to go back to Blockbuster.
I'm Allison Hagendorf. America, this is the next. Hello, Times Square. Hello, Madison Square Garden. Welcome to X Games Aspen. I'm Allison Hagendorf. I'm the live announcer of the B&Me. Welcome to Rock This with Allison Hagendorf.
Yeah, this is Allison Hagendorf.
Hello, my fellow music lovers, and welcome to the Allison Hagendorf Show. Hello, my fellow music lovers, and welcome to the Allison Hagendorf Show. This is where we celebrate the universal love of music and the rock and roll spirit that lives in each of us. I'm so glad you're here. We are coming to you from DWP Studios in Los Angeles, and I want to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor, Cloudwater. These are quality products I love, and they help make this show possible along with you. Your support means the world to me. Thank you for watching, listening, and subscribing. Today, we are celebrating a new era of a band who not only was a mainstay of the 2000s alternative music scene, but who catapulted into mainstream pop culture. The All-American Rejects are back. We talk all about new music, why now is the right time, stories from the past, and where they are heading next. We'll be right back with the All-American Rejects right here in the studio. One thing about me is that I work hard and play hard, and this functionally fun box from Cloudwater helps me do that. These are my people. Listen to what it says inside. The world would be a better place if fun people lived forever. Yes, I subscribe to this. I feel seen. Inside, we have organic caffeine, we have daily defense, immunity, and CBD, which I imbibe every single afternoon. I think you'll enjoy this. Go to cloudwaterbrands.com, use my code Allison30 for 30% off, and let me know what you think. Cheers. My guests today first made their mark as a cornerstone band of the 2000s, transcending scenes and creating songs that became part of pop culture and have withstood the test of time. They've sold over 10 million albums and are back with new music in this new era of the band. The All-American Rejects are here. Guys, welcome. Hey. Welcome to the show.
We are here.
You've arrived. You've arrived.
This place is great, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Sweet digs.
I appreciate that, and I'm honored that I am your first interview conversation in how long?
Oh, I don't know. I guess it's been like real conversation, and I don't know. Let's
Probably
just
since
call it a decade, a good round.
The last time we put out music was like at least 5 years ago. So
yes.
Yeah. First stop on the press tour here.
I am honored. Yeah. Thank you, guys. I want to dive right on into it because the new music. The new song, the first song that I have heard, is one of my favorite songs, and I am so glad you chose to cover Flagpole Sitta, 1997-8.
Yeah.
Seven.
Yeah. Please tell me why this song.
You know, it was really like it was born out of just a really pure moment of, we were doing a really fun, easy run on a bus in the southern United States, and every night became like this drunken playlist party.
It's the best kind.
Yeah.
It is.
And the song came on, and you said it kind of came out as a joke, but I wasn't joking. Like, I was like, the song came on, I was like, this song really slaps. Like, we should cover this song. And
I thought the idea of covering a song was the joke, because we never cover songs. And the last time we covered songs, we were like a bar band in Stillwater, Oklahoma, when you had to play covers. So
you've
I thought
never
that was
recorded. You've never recorded a cover.
No.
Nah.
Okay.
No. Oh, no. I take it back. We did a cover with Butch Walker in Vegas.
Oh, that's right.
For Jimmy Iovine.
It never came out.
And it never came out. Yeah.
What was it? What was
it? It was I Can Hear Music by the Beach Boys.
Oh, wow.
And this is the first one that we've actually gotten to, I guess, bring across the finish line.
Yeah.
And and then everybody was like, yeah, we should cover it. And then I was like, well, what about if we recorded it? And then 3 weeks later, we were in your studio. So
yeah, we actually followed through, and we did it ourselves.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is how quickly it's really come together.
Yeah, I think, with last year, our summer tour was really a big surprise, and it was sort of just kind of lit the fire under us. So ever since then, it's kind of just been gradually sort of getting more and more interested in seeing what All American Rejects in 2024, what that iteration would be like, and it's good.
And the tour did really well. You guys sold a lot of tickets.
I mean, we were surprised.
Yeah.
Like, coming off of When We Were Young in 2022, we're like, okay, let's see what happens if we do our own thing, and we were not anticipating. I mean, the biggest headlining tour we've done was maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people a night, and like here, like 10, 15 years later, it was the biggest tour we've ever done in our whole career. It was amazing.
Wow. I mean,
As a headliner,
it was over like 200,000 tickets. I mean, it was really impressive.
It was
Crap.
Right?
I haven't
was
heard them all
crazy.
added together before.
Yeah, like I got
Yeah.
you. That's where I come in.
Yeah, no, it was, I remember a week before the tour, I was telling our manager at the time, I was like, I don't want to do this tour. Can we just have the singer for Starting Line sing for the band? Because I don't want to do it. Because he plays bass and sings. Like I was really shitting my pants, metaphorically.
We were very vulnerable, and we did not
Yeah.
know what to expect. We weren't anticipating it doing.
What it
What it
did.
did.
So you were
No.
pleasantly surprised.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
that was sort of the beginning of it. Sort of like, wow. We not only do we still got it, but it's like our fans are hungrier than ever.
Yeah, and that energy they were pumping every night was just like medicine. You know, every night we felt younger and felt more excited to step out there. So
Yeah.
it was great.
That's what's wonderful. And you have so many big festivals now that you guys are going to be doing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, we're on a
weird.
festival
Let's see.
circuit for
That's
the first
right.
time
You got
ever.
Slam Dunk. I Won a Festival When We Were Young, of course.
Of course.
Yes.
Ocean's Calling. I'm really
Ocean's
excited
Calling.
about. Yeah, that'll be really cool. It's been a weird full circle couple years for this band. Never thought that circle would get drawn back, and it's really cool. Yeah.
So why do you think, like, why is now the right time? I know that doing the tour and seeing that wonderful response was the impetus, but you also just could have been like, wow, that was great, you know, and not proceeded with this new era.
Sure.
So why do you think now is the right time?
I think there was just a revitalization from doing that stuff of like, oh, this is exciting, you know? And
Right.
what's the next step when we can't be on the road all the time, you know?
Now, was this sort of like, did one person be like, it's time? Or was this sort of just like everyone like, let's do this?
I don't think so. I think it was kind of just a mutual feeling and understanding coming off of When We Were Young, doing the tour last summer, and then like, I mean, for the first time in a decade, like we've all been like ready to make this our full-time thing again.
Yes.
Yeah, which is exciting.
And I think growth was like really important for me at least, and I think all of us. I think it was just something unspoken. Like we were signed when I was 17 and Nick was 19,
Yeah.
and we had no parental guidance, and we were just four guys living in an upstairs garage, double bunk bed, single bedroom home.
Our college experience basically lasted 12 years.
That is.
Yeah.
Wait,
we should be doctors
It was
by
double
now.
bunk bed.
Yeah.
Double bunk
Yeah.
bed.
Oh,
yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can imagine the
Yeah.
amazing situations that those bunk beds were in.
Special. Special.
But starting there, like, you know, what were you like when you were 17?
Yeah.
And then fast forward 22 years.
Yeah.
After a 10-year hiatus, essentially. And especially seeing, you know, I can't ignore the fact that, you know, the whole scene has sort of like come up the last couple years.
Yes.
And we've always been this fringe band of, oh, well, are they in this emo category? Kind of.
But they're also on the radio.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're kind of, you know, estranged for other reasons. And then just sort of seeing what bands are doing to capitalize on that, and it feels really, it can feel not genuine. And so I think we all wanted to make sure that we're doing this because, like, we want to do this instead
Yeah.
of just, hey, let's go shake the purse strings of some people who are finally ready to pay. Like, that's disgusting to me. So yeah, it had to be a pure reason for us to do this again, and I think that we've all kind of silently agreed that, you know, this feels right
Yes.
for us, not for anyone else.
Right.
So
And it's kind of baby steps too. You know, we did the tour. Great.
Yeah.
Let's record a song. It's a cover. low stakes. And so, yeah, we're easing back into it, but it feels great.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned over the last 10 years, it's been a little bit of, it's not really a hiatus. I mean, you guys did put out music and you've, you know.
Yeah, we didn't do like the let's break up and then get back together thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, you've still been a band. What has been in the last 10 years, would you say, what's been challenging?
Living in 4 different cities.
Yeah.
The only time we can rehearse is before sound check at whatever fair we're playing that weekend.
Right, yeah.
That's tricky.
That's true.
I think settling into our new skin, because you're in this time capsule ever since, like I said, when we were 17. You're in a bus. You're literally in these things that shelter you from growth and from the outside world. And when that happens, you can be detached. I mean, it happens to a lot of people that have success. Success coupled with that sort of reclusive life can like breed, I don't know, like stagnation and just, you know, you can kind of like plane out and not feel like you need to do anything. So the last 10 years, even though we have still been active, it's just for me as a lyricist and a songwriter, you know, thinking about, wow, I'm not thinking about heartbreak, man. I'm very much in love.
Yeah.
And what is the true thing that I want to say now that I'm older and different? And then also, where's the music going to go? Because, you know, I feel like a lot of bands have kind of stayed the course or tried to, you know, throw trap beats when that shit was happening. You know, like I feel like
Yes.
there are people.
Nick's giggling over here.
Well, yeah, there are people that, you know, we fucking threw a trap beat in a song.
Did we?
Yeah, I think.
What about your country
It's very
song? Are you gonna have a
tongue-in-cheek,
country
very
song
tongue-in-cheek.
coming up? Right.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, we've had growing pains in front of the record button, and we kind of decided to stop that for a second because, and again, it was an unspoken thing, you know, like what are you going to contribute as your art now? And without trying to go, you know, we've done all these fucking meetings with managers where they're like, you know, that Move Along record, man, if you just go back into that, like, if you just go turn back into the yearbook and put on the same fucking outfit and step in front of the camera again, can you look the same? And it's like, well, that is the complete bastardization of art right there. Like, to turn around and go, let's do that again. So finding...
Let's ignore who we are now.
Yeah.
And what we've been through since then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think that's just sort of that would corrupt this to where we would never do it again.
Yeah, and the expression wouldn't be evolved. It would just be redundant.
Yeah.
It's like the Hollywoodization of... It would be a sequel. A shitty sequel 20 years later.
And that might be what a lot of people want, but I mean, that's like, we're not doing our damnedest to not do that. We just want to feel like everything we're putting out, you write your first record for yourself. You choose to share it. So channeling that sort of energy again feels like there could be a fresh, you know, there's room for a fresh look on this.
Totally.
Yeah.
See, that's exciting to me because I've been following the music, you know, this whole time, and I love some of the more recent music.
Nice.
Let's talk about new music. Where are we? Are we going to have more music? Are we going to
Like I said, baby steps.
Yeah.
Where it's not off the table, you know.
Okay.
It would be the next baby step.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's got to be with good reason. It's got to be because we love it.
Yeah.
This is the first time we haven't had a record label breathing down our necks. That's a huge relief.
Right.
To know that like we have the power of choice,
The control,
and there's
yeah.
not like this father figure that has been with you your whole life, sort of guiding you, which was our experience with our A&R guy, who had fostered us from all the way, all the way through our 4 records, so that he's not there. It's nice to know that, like, I don't know, we have like complete say over it.
It does feel a little bit like, you know, not having a net, but at the same time, like, we've been doing this for 25 years.
Yes.
Like, we learned in recording Flagpole Sitta that, like, oh, like, we can do this. Like, we can trust each other and trust ourselves and make something that we think is great. So yeah, it's nice kind of just being out here on our own.
and you did that song "Proud."
Oh, thanks.
It's a great nod to Harvey Danger, and I love covers because it really celebrates and introduces awesome music to new generations.
Totally.
You know, so I hope this would be a little bit of like a gateway drug for some kids to like go into the 90s deep and like see other stuff. And
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you're such a huge you're a big voice for your 90s love.
I love 90s.
Yeah.
I thought the 90s.
So does Nick. Nick's like
Do you
obsessed with it.
also?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
part of the conversation was, do we cover Flagpole Sitta or do we cover Connection by Elastica?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We were,
That was another contender.
Wow.
yeah, that night got
Interesting.
way drunk. Like, we were like,
You know
let's do
what?
a whole 90s cover record.
I was going to say, I'm not mad
morning, whoa,
at
whoa,
also
whoa.
hearing that.
yeah.
Right?
Hang on. Elastica, what?
Look at these notes. What were we thinking last night?
But I was like, yes, I hope kids learn about Harvey Danger and like
Hell yeah.
Flag. By the way, do you know about Flagpole Sitta? Like, did you kind of go into like how they wrote that song and what that's about and stuff?
Not how they wrote it, but we're like, what is a flagpole sitta? We're like, oh, that's interesting. People would just sit as like a display.
It was, for people who don't know, like it was this trend in the 1920s because young people didn't have television, they didn't have radio, so they would just like kind of come up with these things and they would just like sit like in a contest, like who can kind of sit the longest.
Like Hands on a Hard Body.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
Yes. Exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Wait, so 1920. So we're coming up on the centennial
Yes.
of Flagpole Sitta-ing.
Right.
Bringing it back.
We are.
Bringing it back.
We actually, the timing couldn't be more perfect. That's why. But then also they chose Sitta as opposed to Sitter.
Right.
Because it was like a nod to NWA's like straight outta Compton.
Oh, that's
Nice.
funny.
And there was a Pavement song called Fame Thrower.
Layers.
That's my 90s like
That's great.
trivia I like to just bring
Historian.
in
I love that.
at all
I
times.
love it.
I am. I really am.
You are.
Speaking of decades and the love, of course, there's a resurgence you talked about before of the early 2000s and when we were young and all of that. So how does that make you feel? Because I'm sure that in some, parts of that, it's great. It's a celebration. It's nostalgic. But I'm sure other parts, maybe you have a weird feeling about it.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
It's a little old sometimes. You
gets
know?
old, yeah.
Like when my nephew's talking about this stuff. Oh, like I'm really into like classics. He just brings stuff that I'm like,
You're classic rock guys.
keep your mouth shut.
I did see a meme the other day that said, it makes me feel old that the 2000s are now an acceptable party theme.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That
And
is
like
true.
Jinkos are back.
Oh, I know, yeah.
It's stuff like, what? Bleached tips. Is that coming back next?
Oh, we
Yeah.
probably missed that. That would have been like 3 years ago.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's, what'd you say the other day? Like when we were growing up, 80s was like
Yes.
a vibe. Now
Yeah,
it's
80s
like,
was the
That
thing
was-
that
that
we
was
were
the
celebrating.
thing.
Yeah, and now the 2000s are the same amount of time back.
I mean, I just surrender, and
Yeah.
also I'm glad we're not like super ancient. Like,
Right.
I mean, I
Right.
think if we were 50 doing this, like that would be different. Like even a decade makes a big difference as far as like that feeling of, oh shit, I'm old. Yeah, it feels like we still got some gas in the tank, and we're not necessarily the
A
oldest
lot of
guys out
gas
there.
in the tank.
Come
First of all,
on,
you're acting like you're like an
hey, I'm
octogenarian
saying.
right now. I mean, think about the rockers. Look at Mick Jagger. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah, man.
I mean, come on.
He's not human though.
I know
Yeah, I was
that's
gonna
true.
say.
He's-
That's true. That's right. I'm wearing my Rolling Stone sneakers right now because I love them
So
so
nice.
much.
Those are fresh too. You can tell that you baby those.
I do baby these.
Yeah.
I don't wear these out and about.
They definitely arrived with doilies wrapped around them.
Yes, total
Yeah.
doilies. Exactly. Going back to the early 2000s, 'cause I'm not letting you guys escape this yet.
Yeah, no, go on.
What do you think was the best thing about that time? That you can't, it won't come again. What was special about that time? Because it really was a movement. Like we were all living that. I don't think we realized at the time how special and unique it was, and that it was really going to be like a captured moment. You know?
I mean, you especially coming from Fuse, like that was literally what turned those lights on.
Yeah.
What I remember, like Fuse was where you could get everything that wasn't played on MTV, but was the scene, And then when that scene faded, so did that network.
Yes.
So I mean, just that alone, that power culturally is like crazy to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think that there's so? I mean, of course, you can go for the obvious. Oh, flip phones were better because they weren't yet smart.
Yeah.
So people were a lot more present and.
Well, it was just that last gasp before social media kind of splintered everything. And so you still had, a megaculture of, fuses and MTVs and everyone to share pages of magazines like AP and...
Yeah, right.
And so since then it's like, everyone gets their information in these tiny little slivers, whereas everyone had to come together and get it in the same pool before.
Yeah.
Like mass curation.
Yeah.
It was just radio and MTV and Fuse. Yeah.
Yeah, it was almost like the purity of the individual connection with music could be shared in the congregation, whereas now I feel like that's even harder for you. And you feel it shows. Like you have to remind people that like this is a fellowship when you're at a show, because you can see a lot of people wanting to just run away immediately to their individuality, filming their perspective, but then when they engage from that, you can cultivate that energy that it's like, this is what concerts are all about. This is why you go to this place.
I still do think that's what's very special about rock shows now, is that people really still get really in the moment and you really feel that community. And of course this happens in all genres, but I do think the rock scene is still very like that visceral, primal, in the moment. I mean, I'm sure people have phones, but it's less like selfieing in front of the band and more like, I'm going to video it and now I'm going to rock out. And I do love seeing that, and that makes me happy. It's also sort of sad or different about the times with social media, but also there's less bands, So when there are young bands that are great, it's even more special, right? Because when we were coming up, everyone was in a band. It was like so many bands. Everyone was in a band.
Yeah.
Everyone played instruments. And now people can put out music, and great music, without being in a band, without playing an instrument.
Yeah.
So that's
Producers
also...
killed the rock and roll star.
Right.
Yeah, the band is like the best form of collaboration in my opinion. Like now everybody collaborates, which is great, but like it's just a bunch of individual or solo artists featuring on each other's stuff. Like there's not just,
Well, it's
a
like
group of
dating. It's like a
people.
one-night stand.
Right, totally.
As opposed to like a marriage.
Yeah.
This family, this bubble is,
And it
you
feels
can't
like
beat that.
strategic,
Yeah.
and it feels like purposeful instead of organic. It's not like, when Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks got in a basement for
Yes.
a couple days and were fucking and like on high as a kite and stuff. You know what I mean? It was like there was way more to that than just like a label picking up a phone
Right.
saying, hey, 50 grand, and somebody going, yeah, sure, great, whatever.
It's like a
Send me the track.
calculated marketing tactic.
And they never
right?
meet until they promote the song.
Right, they recorded in separate studios.
They might never meet. They might never
Yeah.
meet, actually.
The song might just not
Yeah.
work.
What do you think is the most special thing about this band, about your connection and your dynamic?
I feel like we're four completely different walks of life that come from the same part of the country. Like we're all Oklahoma bread and buttered, and the one thing we all agree on is the All-American Rejects, and that has like always been a thing. And I think that when you have four different perspectives sort of contributing to this one common goal or brotherhood, really, it creates a really unique, explosive and fun experience. Yeah.
And actually, to go back and touch on the 2000s thing, I think starting a band at that time, you create this little world, and it's kind of impenetrable, and you don't want anybody to invade that. Like, co-writing and collaboration in that way was not really a thing in the 2000s, at least in our world. And we've kind of always kept it that way.
Yeah.
So to still be here, 20 years later, like doing it on our terms, without having to bring in all these outside voices feels really cool. I mean, it's a great place to be.
Well, it's freedom.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like a self-love acknowledgement, I mean, I hope you guys take a moment to reflect and be like, oh, we wrote these songs. We created these songs.
Yeah.
That you helped you transcend a scene. You're from a scene, transcended the scene, and became just part of
pop culture fabric. That's really
It's a trip, man. But yeah, no, it's a point of pride for us, of course. I mean, we're absolutely. I think that's what last summer did for us. That tour was just, it humbled us and it made us like completely grateful for the fact that we did do something. I always tell Nick, like, anytime we, you know, are surprised by something, we're like, wow. I'm always talking about us as if we're completely different people. I'm like, man, those kids did something great, didn't they?
I mean, it does feel like a different lifetime.
right.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Yeah. I was going through like the discography while I was kind of getting ready for today, just really going back on the catalog, and it's really remarkable. And you guys really had a consistent ascent. You know, it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and you kept consistently
Until it didn't.
Well,
Until we stopped.
I
There
want
was a sea change in music at that time.
It was so many shifts. But I wanted to just understand what that ascent was like, because I'm sure you have fans who have all different favorite albums, because you really had massive songs from each one. What was that point where you felt like you were the biggest band? I mean, there was a moment where you guys were everywhere.
It's kind of converse feelings, because we were also, because of the 2000s, it was you take a year to write a record, you record that record, and then you go tour for 18 months,
Yes.
and then you do it all over again. We did that 4 times.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think it was 2009, I think that was the year we played like 300 shows in a calendar year. And I remember coming off a literal world tour, like where we started on one side and went around, and while we were coming back, we were going to land in Hawaii, play a couple shows at the Pipeline, as you do, and then take a week off. And that's when I just fell deathly ill because of this travel. And I remember the plane landing, looking at my Sidekick 3, and getting the email that said "Gives You Hell" was #1. And I couldn't appreciate that at all. I was like, I don't even care right now.
Yeah, well, you were done. You were depleted.
Yeah.
You were,
That's what it's like.
yeah.
Yeah, and we took 2 years in between records to make each one. So I think we tried to control whatever the outcome was, outward facing, you know, just to stay grounded throughout that whole process.
Yeah.
I think it served us well, you know.
And it was interesting because we never repeated ourselves stylistically with each record. And so every record was kind of starting from scratch in a way. And because we'd always get the thing, like we'd put out a record and there'd be a bunch of people who did not like it. But then by the time the next record came along, it was the same thing, except they loved the last record,
Right.
you know?
Of course.
So it was like we were having to build this like new fan base each time. So there's always like an interesting feeling there.
Yeah, the transition from the first to the second record was really harrowing. Like we got back in a van because we were like I just remember we were just being very safe about everything. We're like we had no expectations. I was considering getting a job at Blockbuster after that first record because we didn't know how this next one was going to go. It was a departure from that record we did with Tim O'Hare. Like we jumped in with Howard Benson. And,
Right.
you know, he'd just done, you know,
Everything.
Mike Kim.
Yeah,
and
Mike
like,
Kim. Yeah.
I forget. And POD.
Right.
And so this was like this big time producer. So it was a big wild step into a different direction and his process. So we were kind of really hedging our bets with low expectations. And I think that's just kind of what we carried into each record. It was like, cool, this is where it all goes tits up.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of like what Mike said. Each record was kind of a rebirth and kind of starting over. Just because, you know, to go back to the theme, what Tyson was talking about, like we want to challenge ourselves and express ourselves where we are now, or in that case, where we were in 2005, and then differently in 2008, etc. So,
yeah, and the songs were bigger than the band. Like we were in a scene where our contemporaries were. You know, the crowds look just like them. When you go to a Reject show, even to this day, you can look at our audience and it's like the DMV. it's all walks of life, and honestly, like that's like a big badge that I love and wear proudly because we weren't just this. We weren't everything. We were songs that people connected to, and that was such a pure. It used to be something like of a chip that I had on my shoulder about. I was like, man, why why isn't this cultural in some sort of other way? And now it's like, I'm so proud that it was just what it was, because the people that come out are simply there because they love the music, and didn't have to like put on the clothes and like all that stuff to make it feel like they were connected to us. It was just the music that made the connection. So grateful for that.
That's amazing. Lots of highs and lows, right? Huge ascent, and then you said it until it wasn't, you know?
Sure, yeah.
What was that kind of like, you know, processing, mindset?
For me, I think I felt like it was like freedom. Like we were so beholden to this process for 12 years before we actually gave ourselves a breath to live our life. We abandoned our families, we abandoned ourselves in the process. It's such a self-sacrificing job when you put yourself in. I don't blame it on the major label system, but being on a major label system, you are not just working for yourself in that regard. So yeah, I felt like initially, I think we were all kind of like, oh fuck, thank God, finally, a year to myself.
Yeah. It was
Who am I? I was 28 when I got a house in Los Angeles, and I was like, I had a huge identity crisis. I immediately landed in Hollywood, and I had all these tarantulas crawl out of the woodwork to let me buy them drinks, and I had no friends outside of this, so I was desperate for anything outside of this, and fell into the tropes of a summer of my lost weekend. And I could look back and curse that, but it was such a gift to me of just finding myself, letting myself fail or mess up or see a sunrise too many. And that was like a big part of who I am now. We didn't get college years. We came off the stage every night and criticized ourselves. We didn't go party. We didn't live it up, man. We were perfectionists and still kind of are. I think we're just now enjoying knowing. What was I saying? I was like, it's like being a woodworker and like developing your craft for a decade, for 12 years, and never showing any of your work. Even though I guess we performed every night, but just just finally being out of that place and being like, wow, we're good. Like accepting that like we do what we do and nobody else can, and we're good at it. So that's nice to accept.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was bittersweet because Kids in the Street, our fourth record, maybe like our collective favorite album. We put a lot into that, put a lot of care and intention into that record. And when it, didn't do what the last ones did, we were bummed, of course, but yeah, like for the first time we got to maybe have a little like work-life balance.
Yeah.
Maybe start therapy,
Yeah.
things like that.
Self-care.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a concept.
Yeah.
It's wild to think how far you've come, and the debut album is now over 20 years. Move Along is going to be 20 years next year. If you could go back, what would you say to yourself?
Don't smoke as much weed, man. Smoke a little less weed.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. No, I mean, I don't know if I'd tell myself anything differently. I mean, he got me here. We didn't fuck up. Like, I think that's one thing I'm grateful for is we didn't mess up too bad.
We never had to go back to Blockbuster.
That's true.
It wouldn't have been there for us. So.
That's true. That would have changed too.
I don't think we always made the right choices. We've done some silly stuff, and like, sure, we've made mistakes and stuff. But like, I'm happy where I'm at. Like, I'm happy that we're where we're at. So yeah, I mean, just you do you, kid.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Now that you're, in this next era of the band, as humans too, as men, what do you sort of hope to achieve?
I think, personally, for me, it's just artistic fulfillment. Like, the reason we decided to turn the lights back on, or just to turn the dimmer switch back up, is because I feel there's something to be said. I think, and through music, and I think that's all we can hope for is to still feel this fulfillment in our creative process. Like, we've all kind of ventured out into experimentation. You know, Mike produces records, Chris plays with other bands, you know, like Nick has produced many things as well. I think we've all just kind of developed ourselves individually a little bit more as artists, and to bring that back to this, to know that maybe there's something out there in front of us that we haven't offered yet. That's the only thing that like gets me up in the morning for this band anymore, is about what we will do. And I know that that's like the last thing a lot of people want to hear from a band who's been doing this for so long, is like, oh, I can't wait for our next record. But I truly can't. If that's going to happen, I really think it's going to be because it's something we have to do.
Yes.
Instead of are going to do to shake the purse strings of those who are easy to please. Like, the last thing I want any people that like this band to feel is like we are corrupting anything that we have done, because that would just belittle those young kids' efforts that got us here. So,
and hopefully when and if we do, just have a healthier perspective about it. I think, especially growing up in like this major label system, yeah, we had a lot of fun making those records, but in the end of the day, it's all how well do they perform. And I think putting out this cover song right now, I think it's kind of, I'm having those like feelings just out of like muscle memory of like, oh, I hope this does good, but I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up. Like,
Right.
you had fun doing this.
Yeah.
Like, artistic fulfillment, having fun, and I don't know, just, getting to do this for a job. Like, accepting that and appreciating that, like, that's all I want to do with the next whatever we do.
Wow. Well, I can tell you as a fan from the beginning, I'm genuinely excited for this evolution.
Cool.
And for whatever comes next.
thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. My mission has always been shining light and positivity through my brand. And one way to do that is by selling curated merch and products that really represent me, with the plan of selling my own book one day. However, it wasn't until I found Shopify and realized how easy it was to set up and integrate into all of my current channels that I was able to start bringing that vision to life. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%. Less customers leaving means more sales go up. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout I use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/TAHS, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/TAHS to upgrade your selling today. As you know, fitness is a huge part of my life, but owning my own business and having 2 little boys at home, I don't always have the time to get in the gym. But I still want to make sure I'm staying fit and healthy. Enter the Amazfit Active Watch, which tracks it all. Amazfit is one of the leading global smart wearable brands focused on health and fitness. Their super sleek, award-winning design watches are powered by the awesome Zepp app that delivers cloud-based 24/7 actionable insights and guidance, which helps me reach my wellness goals at any time of the day, meaning that it's always ready to keep up with my active lifestyle and chase after my boys with me. And because of its dependable battery life, I love that I can track my sleep, steps, oxygen, and workouts throughout the entire day. Also, Amazfit's mantra is up your game, which encourages you to live your passions and express your active spirit freely. Yes, I feel so seen. I think you'll like it. And because Amazfit is trusted by 42 million active daily users in more than 90 countries, you'll be in good company. Go to amazfit.com/TAHS to receive 15% off your watch today. That's amazfit.com/TAHS for 15% off. Okay, we're gonna do deep cuts, guys.
What is this?
I'm just gonna say a question. You guys can sort of just give me like a quick, like rapid fire.
Sure.
Okay.
Shoot.
Name a song, album, or artist that changed your life.
Rolling Stones. I heard Paint It Black for the first time and wanted to be a drummer when I was a little kid.
Wow. Wore this for you, Chris.
Oh, yeah,
Get it on there. Here we go.
Oh, all of us.
Yes,
Okay.
all of it. All of you. Yeah.
Oh man, that's tough. Kiss, I guess. Yeah, like when I was young, I had an older brother who's 6
Yes.
years older. Showed me Kiss. I bought my first record when I was 5, which was Destroyer. And that kind of showmanship with pop songs, it's great stuff.
Yes.
For me, it's just, I think, radio.
Okay.
Like I was such a child of radio, and it was all incubated in 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. 6-pack on the floor while my father was avoiding driving home, while I was laying in the car seat or laying in the other side of the pickup truck, and he would spill, his love of Black Crowes, Stone Temple Pilots.
Aw.
Osmosis through my grandmother's love for musicals. For me, it was all. I associate music with the pillars of my life that molded me. I'll never forget, like when I was, when we're coming up and somebody would ask that quintessential Beatles question. I was like, I haven't really heard a lot of them, but I got to discover them as I aged. So for me, I think music in general has just been such a gift for my sensory spectrum that I am a part of. Like I think that's one thing you guys all know about me is like I don't think I really ever like highlight somebody and go, oh my god, this is me. Like,
Really? So there's not like one artist that like.
I mean, I could rattle off like,
Is
I
it more
love
just a
Harry
song?
Belafonte. I love
Ace of Base.
ELO. Beck was a moment in my life. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just a child of radio
Right.
and those who distilled their love for music. Music is something that I've grown to love. For me, it was the outlet to get on a stage, to express myself, to kind of just be colors.
Yeah.
I have a really weird relationship with music.
No, I respect that. I totally get that. What about you?
I'd say Def Leppard Hysteria like awakened something in me, and Siamese Dream inspired me to actually do it.
That's incredible. And by the way, Billy, who will be here this week,
Oh shit!
he feels the same way about Siamese Dream, though, that you guys feel about like Move Along.
Of course he does.
Like everyone's always like, do Siamese Dream 2.0. He's like, I was a child. I am a grown man. I just don't feel that way anymore. So that was just that reminded me of that.
Yeah, it's good to see. It's good to hear
Yeah.
about another artist like refusing to say that or like refusing to go back there, because so many artists you see desperately trying to do that, and I think that's what's ruining modern music. In a big way. Like
Yeah. If you were not a musician, what would you be?
I was going to be a physical therapist.
Really? That's so interesting.
Yeah. Look at me now.
But I feel like being a drummer, though, you like do need to take care of yourself and
I should, but no.
just good genes. Yeah.
I have no idea. The longest job I had before this was Taco Bell. And
You did go to school for bowling.
Did you?
Hell of a
well,
bowler.
I didn't
Oh
go
my God,
for
are you good? Still good?
No, I
he's
took.
pretty good. He's got
Really?
great technique.
He beats
Wow.
us. He
Depends
beats
on if
us
he's
every
on,
time.
You know?
I did take bowling as a class in college. That was wasted money.
You're an athlete.
But it wasn't my focus.
My phone.
You're a damned athlete.
It should have been. It should have been. That's amazing.
I don't know. Probably a PA on this show.
Oh,
I don't know. I always thought I'd maybe make jingles for a marketing company, but that was like in this, Darren Stevens.
But that's music stuff.
that is still music.
There we go. I don't know. I'd be sponging off my parents. That's what I would probably
Fair
be
enough.
doing.
I think the
Blockbuster.
only job I ever had that wasn't music related was a paper route. I was damn good at it though. I had
You had it
I
down?
had 2 paper routes, and it was the largest area coverage in the entire
Wow.
town. Yeah.
It's high stakes.
Yeah,
You were
it is.
reliable.
Yep.
Did you have like the flick of the wrist down? Like
I did. In my neighborhood there were a lot of older people, and they all went out on their porch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I did get really good at nailing their glass door, so it just fall on the porch.
It's great precision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once they started making us get up on Saturday and Sunday morning,
Too much.
that's when I got out.
That was it.
Yep.
That was it. What
Have a
is
weekend.
I know.
what is the greatest risk you've ever taken?
Oof. Oh man, taking a lot. Really dumb ones. I mean, I went skydiving once. I guess it's like the greatest physical risk. I guess
And ended up okay.
this.
Did you die?
Probably this. When I first,
You mean like doing this show or being in the All American Rejects?
All American Rejects. I had just enrolled in school for just going to do physical therapy, and then I got a call and I did it. And I told my dad, and he was not happy. He's like, "It's going to be fine, Dad. Don't even worry about it."
I dropped out of school for this too.
Oh.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And my dad had the same thing.
Yeah.
He was just like,
School is for fools.
Yeah, he was like, okay. You know, and he always told that story afterwards of like, when I told him like, oh yeah, I'm not going back to school and quitting my job and we're moving into this tiny little duplex. And he's like, okay. And he, had no faith in it. But then he's like, but it worked out. What did I know?
Yeah. Came around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this band was the biggest
This is
risk,
it.
but it was also the only lifeboat I think, especially
Yeah.
Nick and I had. Yeah.
It didn't feel like a risk to me. It was just like, no, this is what I want to do. The livelihood of it didn't matter. It was like, no, this is just what I want to do. So,
Yeah. It was your calling. It was meant to be.
right.
Yeah.
So
Guys, thank you so much. I'm
Thanks so
so
much.
Thanks for
excited
your
and
time.
honored to have you here.
oh, it's
to
such
be-
an honor for us to be here. It's like we've all kind of gone through this thing together.
We sure.
Look at us. We still head above water. Look
Yeah.
at this. This is incredible what you've made for yourself.
Oh, thank
really, it's
you.
really cool to be here. Really
Wow.
cool.
And your plants are thriving.
They really are.
Yeah.
I know. I take my vegetation very seriously. Everyone here is hydrated, including the plants.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Oh, guys, thank you. We'll be right back. This was a beautiful full circle moment for me. Just, sitting down with the guys, being their first interview in a while, having been with them through the years, it's really beautiful. And I'm so excited for this next chapter of the band. Thank you so much for being part of the Allison Hagendorf Show presented by Cloudwater. A huge thank you to our other partners as well. Danny Wimmer Presents. Thank you, Arctic Zone, for our guest gift bags. And most importantly, thank you. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would be honored if you subscribe to the channel. And I would love to hear from you. So please like, comment, rate, review, whatever you're feeling, and reach out to me on socials at Allie Hagendorf. Let's connect. Let me know who I should interview next and what made you smile today. Thanks again. I'll see you next time. And remember, you're a rock star.